to go home in unmarked cars when the riots were happening, because a lot of them were seen as, they would say Uncle Tom's, and they were threatened, they were targeted. I know. Well,
I'm not saying yours doesn't, but we're all unified saying, hey, these lives matter.
How would you sort of characterize, or how do you view like race relations in the United States right now?
I do believe a lot of it is an agenda. So again, I look at the thing from like a micro level, like the things that they are portraying and projecting right now. I think that is to distract people from what's really important. You know what I'm saying? So when I look at the race issues, and I believe that's what you're talking about right now.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like there's a racial divide.
That's what the media how they portray it.
Yeah. I don't necessarily believe that. I'm a light-skinned person myself, so if you know what that means,
not compared to these guys. Unless you're translucent.
Yeah, I'm black and white.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I've definitely experienced both sides of the spectrum when it comes to things like that. So I lived in a place like Louisiana, which was very southern, right? And if you know the history of Louisiana, like it's, I guess it was a very racial place, but my growing up there in high school, I experienced a lot more racism from the black people than from the white people, and that's
really
weird to say, yeah. But and then when I
what kind of racism would you experience from black people?
I would say like when you talk about like discrimination against a group, that's what I'm saying. I feel that I was discriminated toward because of lighter skin. Now, the white people in the school, I wouldn't say that there was really any conflict with them between me, and that's what I feel like. It is more what the media wants to do, and what I feel like a lot of even black people are struggling with is believing the media and whatnot.
That's surprising. As a not half a completely white person, obviously. I mean, I was raised in Canada. I'm very, very white. We're always told, and especially with Barack Obama, that biracial people are always treated like they're black, right? That's what you hear in the media, and that wasn't your experience.
Yeah, definitely not. I don't believe that that's an experience for most, and I believe that America, a lot of people have a victim mentality, and they don't really ever search truth for themselves, and they just get fed a lot of things and a lot of truths. So yeah, that's what I struggle with a lot.
I like that he said that too, Craig. I saw you. What you had to say about that, big dog?
I think it's honest. I think the victim mentality is in America right now. Is everybody wants to, like that dude said, everybody wants to point a finger at someone to say you're the problem and you're the problem instead of looking at themselves saying, oh, I'm the problem. I say it's one of the sayings that I say all the time. If you change the why to the how, like why did this happen to me to how did this happen to me, it changes everything in your perspective. Like the victim mentality is a terrible thing. My daughter's going through it right now. She's like, everything's bullied. I'm getting bullied. And I tell her, no, stop that. Like, no, that's not us. We don't back down from anything. You turn around and you face it and you just do your thing. Don't blame it on anything else.
Absolutely. And I will also add this. Anybody out there who have a victim mentality and you constantly you want to ruminate over the bad things that are happening to you, also understand this. If something is happening to you, it's happening for you. And while you're in the middle of it, you don't understand it. But there's a term in the Bible that says iron sharpens iron, right? Sometimes you have to be thrown in the fire in order to be sharpened. Sometimes you have to be thrown in the fire in order to be toughened up. Sometimes you have to be punched in the face to make you do whatever you need to do to make sure that does not happen again. Now, you're either going to take that victim oppressed way of thinking and say that I'll just hide and I'll just, I'll cower in the corner, or I'll do this. Or you might say, I'm going to make sure that I'm sharp. I'm going to work on my own defense. I'm going to make sure that if that ever happened again, they're going to hate themselves for trying me like that. Sometimes we go through things because, and a lot of people, if it's just looking at things from a selfless lens, we go through things sometimes because there are millions of other people who are going through the exact same things that we have gone through or we are going through right now. And when we get out of what we're going through, or we get through what we're going through, now we have the tools to help someone else go through that same exact thing. When they're getting bullied, we can say, yo, it's not going to be forever. This is what I did, and this is how this helped me. This is what empowered me. My dad told me this, and boom, 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 I'm telling you this. And that's how knowledge should go. Like, my dad told me this, it helped me. Now I'm going to tell you this, it helped you. Now you go tell somebody else, it helped them.
Right.
And on and on and on. So that's a great point, bro. Thank you, man.
Are you being attacked or educated?
And then while you're in the fire, you don't know. You believe you're just being attacked, like everything's happening to me, not realize, wow, I'm getting stronger. Wow, that bruise has calloused, and I've gotten stronger. I've gotten tougher. You know what I mean? And a lot of people don't look at it that way.
We like babies. Babies, they live through failure. And then you get older and failure's a problem. And now it's somebody else did it. Now, I failed. Not because of me. I did everything right. Like, come on now. Nobody does everything right.
Nobody. Not a daggone soul walking this planet, bro.
Nope.
Especially a place like Dallas, it's a melting pot. You know what I mean? So it's nice to live in a place like this, but then you also see a lot of people just being distracted by all that's going around them and never really searching truth for themselves. And that's what makes me sad. You know what I mean? I'm a believer. I'm a Christian. I believe in the Word of God. I believe in Jesus. So when I see people being deceived by these things that they're portraying to be big and then actually just distracting them from deeper truth, then I get pretty frustrated by that. So
man, it's refreshing to hear, because you're saying I would agree with pretty much everything you just said, right? And I think this is an issue too. Like, I obviously think racism exists to some degree. There are individual racists, like you've experienced it. White people are what you just said, white people will be afraid to say, because they'd be afraid to be accused of being racist, right? That is a fear right now, which I will tell you creates a divide. Like, when Black Lives Matter happened, right? We just talked with 2 or 3 guys. I said, man, I think all lives matter. And I said, no.
Quick question. Why are these afraid white people? Because most of the white people that I'm meeting are pretty bold. They're pretty bold, and they don't mind putting their 2 pennies out there. And maybe I'm just not coming across the coward white people. Let me know if you're one of those people in the comments, and or if you know some people like that. But Stephen, I'm hard pressed to come across some people who are not afraid to speak their own truth. I know y'all don't like hearing that, because there's only one truth, but everybody claim they got their own truth.
White people were called supremacists if they said that, so they go, I'm just not going to voice an opinion. That creates more distance. Do you sense that a little bit, where maybe white people are kind of pulling back because they're afraid of being it's a witch hunt, that everything is, they express the exact same opinions you just did. Most white people, that's 100% in common. Yeah,
and that's what I would have to say, that there needs to, instead of starting a group that is labeled Black Lives Matter, which again, like so I see a lot on the media, right, of like when somebody will post like, oh, this strong black woman, and then and that happens by the black community, where they continue to describe themselves and kind of belittle themselves by their skin color, that like, okay, that's what's important about me, I mean, what I'm saying. And I don't think that's what's important about anybody. And even when it goes into and this might be a little bit off topic, but when you go into the gay community or the trans community, it's funny to me how
completely on topic.
Whole identity is wrapped in their sexuality. You know what I'm saying? So, and I just see like that's a very sad life to live for anybody. And even as, like, let's say I walked around here light-skinned, and I started, or an African American, you know what I mean? I walked around here and I made my whole life just about my skin color, and praising that and lifting that up. I just think that that's the biggest waste of time and a distraction that I think the media tries to push. And I think the best thing they could do is continue to keep tension between racial groups when there really shouldn't be any. Again, in my life, I haven't came across anybody, and when they talk about like systemic racism, that hasn't been my experience with life at all. So I think that people really need to look into their own life experiences and not take the life experiences of certain people and then claim that as their own just because it's from their same racial group. So
I think that was very well said. Let me ask you one kind of question in closing. Why do you think what you just said? By the way, it's a mixed group. They're white, but a mixed group of people here. We have Russian, we have Polish. Sometimes black people don't realize, like, not all white people are the same. But everyone would agree with what you just said. It was well spoken. Why do you think what you just said is not something that is ever echoed as representative of the black community in the media, meaning with CNN, places like that? What you've just said, you don't hear as a voice in the black community?
I think that the people who do try to speak up in that sense do get shut down and get portrayed as they're crazy or they're psycho or they're mentally ill for having strong opinions. And that's what frustrates me about the media, is that like and it's true that people, even on Instagram, you see stuff that is calling out like liberal groups of people. It says sensitive false content, you know what I mean? So when you see stuff getting censored like that, and it's like, then you see that already there's an agenda that that they don't want truth to be made known. So that's what I say. I think it goes a lot deeper than just the conversation of black and white or even what these people are doing. I think that there's a much deeper agenda, and I think it goes all the way down to that the devil has a plan for this world, but God also has one too, and that's for Jesus to be made known. So.
I would certainly agree with you, man. And here's the thing: would it surprise you that like we've spoken with a lot of people, a lot of black men today, and what you're saying is not uncommon. Like there are a lot of dudes who think the same way, but people don't talk.
Yeah.
Like we have a lot more in common than separates us. And I agree, man. It's a symptom of the heart.
Yeah.
It's not a symptom of the melanin level.
Yeah.
It's not.
I love that.
A symptom of the heart or a symptom of the melanin level. I like that. I like that.
For real, right?
Hey, Sexious, what you got to add, bro? You're not just going to sit here and look cool.
No, I was thinking, what you said earlier about, white people being cowards. I mean, to turn it on its head, you felt that same kind of pressure with your YouTube videos and your channel being about politics. The threat of your livelihood and that things can come back to your family. It's the same thing other people will feel. If a bunch of people on social media send in letters to your place of work and start telling your boss, oh, this guy's a racist, oh, this guy's a bigot, he's so harassing people, and you got a wife and kids you're trying to take care of, and then you're out of a job. And I mean, you can't use that job for a reference because when they call up, why was this guy fired? Oh, he was fired for being a racist. That's the kind of thing that can chase people down for years. So there's a kind of threat, not just to like, oh, I'll be criticized, so I'm just going to be quiet, but it's going to trace you down to your family. It's going to follow you. It's going to not just affect you, but your kids. And that what kind of gets to people.
I understand that 100%. It gets a little bigger than it should. It just blows up. It explodes. It inflates so daggone much, and it becomes something that it's not. Like you can't say that a man is still a man even after he got his ding-a-ling cut off. Oh my God, he's all. Let's go ahead and get him removed from his position at work, because how could you possibly work with other human beings and you don't respect all humans, even the ones who are now something other than what they were born as? And you clearly don't respect them because we saw that you said this in your comments, and people are something else, man.
I love that. Yeah. So I appreciate what you guys do. You know what I mean? I would say that conversations are very much needed. I love a lot of. I love the work of people who like to sit down and have conversation, and I think that we are starting to see a lot more people rise up and speak truth and kind of get out of.
It just starts with talking, man.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It just starts with talking with people, not listening to what other people are. It's like a game of telephone. Remember? And so what happens with a lot of white people and black people is like, black people think this, and then it goes. Van Jones goes, black people think that. And he goes, black people think this, and the white people are like, oh, okay, let me go tell other white people. Black people think this, and then at the end we're like, oh yeah, all black people are. Activist communists or whatever the hell it is, and people are like, what? That's not what I said.
Yeah.
I said Apple, like in phone. I'll just say, hey man, I appreciate it, man. I really do. Thank you. Be blessed, man.
You guys as well. Thank
For
you
sure.
so much.
How would you sort of characterize race relations in the United States today between like white and black people?
Between white and blacks, again, depending on where you are society-wise, a lot of times, oftentimes, if your zip code determines your interaction.
Yeah.
So for instance, if you're from my neck of the woods, it's all.
Where are you from?
I'm actually from here, from Dallas. So,
okay.
But the zip codes in Dallas dictate or determine how often you interact with someone. So for my profession, I'll say it for this way. If I'm on a certain side of town, and I'm supposed to protect and serve, but yet the same, if you see me as this, you clutch your purse, or it just big Dominican black guy with tattoos. Oh, he's afraid. On the other side of town, it's like, hey, bro, how you doing, man? Come on over.
Right.
So it all depends on where you're located and your exposure, pretty much.
So you think that in certain areas of town, you think that the white people, like you said, white women are afraid of you?
No, actually, not at all. Actually, no. It all. I think that I have to, as a person speaking for me. Yeah. I have to be a bit more receiving. Hi, how are you? Pleasure. Yeah. And then, hey, what's up? How you doing? Right. That interaction, because I have to be more than.
And do you find that then the interaction is usually positive?
Just so y'all know, that's called code switching.
Called code switching.
You gotta learn how to code switch. If you don't already, some people feel like if you do code switch, you selling out. Like you gotta know when to speak with a kinder tone, a more supportive tone, a more understanding tone, a little less what you call it, hood vernacular.
Right.
He's
not lying though. Like he's 100%.
Yeah, 1000%. Hey, what up? Or what's going on? How you doing? Oh, I'm blessed. You know what I mean? It's but here's the thing. Here's the trick though. Here's the trick. Try being yourself 100% around everyone and see how it pans out.
Oh,
Win, lose or draw. Just try.
I mean, the military gives us training for that. When you get out, you have to do I think it's 2 weeks of classes to be able to how to interact with civilians again. Don't drop F-bombs every other word, that kind of stuff. Because they teach you, you're coming out of this. You probably joined when you're 18. This has been the start of your adult life. And the rest of the world doesn't really work like this. You got to change how you speak. You got to change how you interact with people based on interacting with civilians versus interacting with your brothers in the military, because it's a whole different world.
Yep.
Wow, man. You're right. God gracious, man. See, we got a lot of keys being dropped on this bad boy right here, man. My gracious. Yes, sir.
If you do that,
I do.
It's disarming.
It's somewhat disarming.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Why do you think some people might have that initial reaction if you don't interact that way?
Depending on whatever their experiences have been. For instance, if it's you see the villain on a TV show or on a movie, always. If it's the guy that's putting his mask down, carjacking, and if he looks like
dude,
me,
no, I gotta disagree. If I have to watch another Simply Safe commercial where it's a white guy who kicks in the door at 2 a.m., come on. I have never seen a commercial ever where a black dude is a criminal.
Well, they're smarter than that. They wouldn't.
So they do that on purpose. They don't show us commercials of black dudes being criminals, because then that will play into the narrative of black people being dangerous and stuff like that. That's so ridiculous. Come on, bruh.
Plus, they'd get canceled right away.
That is crazy.
In a heartbeat.
That's nuts, man. That's absolutely nuts, bruh. That's nuts. What's going on, Chris? How you doing, big dog?
Little as I can get away with, you guys.
Bless, man. Same as you, bro. Same as you. I'm the only one over here not blowing up smoke. That's just what you guys are. Y'all are something else. Y'all are something else. I'm judging y'all. I'm judging every single last one of you.
I'm good with that.
All right.
I'm used to it.
I've been judged before.
Yes, sir.
Do that. It'd be the end of
What?
Okay. So we agree on that. They're always it's always like some guy who looks like Gary, who's there to I'm here to rob your home. I'm like, that's not what happens.
Yeah, but it's I think ideally if you put yourselves in an open environment, or if you're open to it. Yeah. If you go to a park and it's not Highland Park, or if it's not University Park, but if it's just a park, go interact with the kids. Oftentimes, I think that part of society is actually taught to us. And this is my own perspective. If you put a group of 5 and 6-year-olds around in the playground, they could care less what the color of your skin is, or where your zip code is, or how much your 401k is, or what your retirement. They could care less. Right. They're just going to play. They're just going to show love. They're going to have fun. And I think that as adults, as we as society, if we can get to that place again to where it's hey man, I see a human.
Yeah.
I see a person.
We have more in common than separates us, probably in a lot of ways.
Agreed.
But if you watch everything in the media, things are always categorized often by race. Very often now, of course, sex and gender.
According to my community, we do not have a whole lot in common. How does that make you guys feel? Do you even believe me when I say it?
No.
I think it's healthy to
What'd you
have
say?
a discourse.
I said, according to my community, we do not have a whole lot in common. Black folk and white folk.
Oh, nah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I think we have a lot more in common than we think we do.
Yep.
I believe so too.
I think our struggles are a slight different, but the same. Like our struggles are exactly the same. When we go to the grocery store, we're both bitching about what the prices are.
Yeah, but only one of us are being followed around thinking that they're about to start robbing the place.
I feel that. I understand that.
I don't. I'm just telling you what other people say. I don't. I think it's BS, but who am I? Listen, I'm not where everyone is. Some people believe the worst when it comes to race relations, bro.
Do you think that's individualistic, or do you think that's a group thing?
I think it's a thing. Like the guy said, that the guy that was just saying it, your zip code kind of determines your outlook on that. I don't think that, man. I don't think that we're all so different. We're all just human beings. We have the same emotions. If people would just let that go and talk to one another, they might actually understand something. They might learn something. I've learned a lot just opening my mind and listening to other people talk about their life and their way of things.
I'm with you, Chris. I'm with you, bro. I'm with you.
Situations where I was, in fact, the only white guy in the room. It's all in how you handle yourself. If you treat people with respect, you're going to get it back.
Yeah, 1,000%. I mean, it's hope for the best, prepare for the worst. You know what I mean? Prepare for the worst, hope for the best. In my opinion, I like to put God first before anything. And at the end of the day, I believe that even if I'm communicating with somebody who is not a believer in God, that's not even the point. I mean, as long as I'm leading with good intentions and I'm leading with love, then I'm believing that the outcome will be that. And if it's something else, then guess what? I'm prepared for that something else.
If it happens that way. That's just life. I don't want to get in a fight, but I'm not going to run away from it.
Exactly.
And I've always found, again, like going to church here in Texas, like one I went to in Carrollton was very mixed. It was almost 50-50.
Absolutely.
Always had very good interactions.
Absolutely.
There was a disconnect from going, well, hold on a second. On TV, they're making it seem like we're worlds apart. Right. Those aren't my interactions on a daily basis.
Absolutely. And even with myself, he gave you the thumb up or something.
Oh, okay.
All right.
I don't know what he's doing.
All right, cool. But in a place such as that.
My man got on a shirt that says F around and find out.
Greatest saying ever.
Yeah. Go ahead and try me, bro. Try me, bro.
You're supposed to be open, welcoming, and hospitals and churches, everybody's supposed to be open to. You're welcome. Hey, come on in.
Yeah.
And I think that as society, we shouldn't get too far from that in which we couldn't find a place of, hey, man, I just want to reach you.
Yeah.
I want to know you. What is it about you?
Well, one thing I'll say, because you talk about sort of your interactions, that maybe some people might clutch their purse, right? Or have these sort of preconceived notions.
Happen to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, if anything happened by law, I'd have to protect you.
And I think
I'm not the threat.
Well, and I think for sure there are some people who have those preconceived notions, right? And black people are probably sometimes, like you're saying, you have to go out of your way because you're concerned of them thinking maybe let's say you're violent.
Right.
On the flip side, you have white people often now, they're very afraid of interacting with black people because they're afraid of being accused of being racist. That's a fear that a lot of white people have now.
Okay.
That I think maybe sometimes black people don't. But we all have our kind of concerns because that white woman may have been mugged. You know what I mean? She may have had a life, like you said, a life experience and wants to avoid it. And if we don't talk, it just gets worse. Right? We just separate more and more.
I've had in my experiences as well, and I also have a young lady that I was in a relationship. She's Caucasian. We have a beautiful triracial baby together. And her experiences and a lot of the things that I've exposed her to about my world before she would ever have known, because they don't teach that in school. They don't teach certain aspects of culture on that side of the world.
Yeah.
Kind of from being from Whitesboro or Pottsboro, they don't teach what I learned.
It has white in the name.
That's a town.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
It's
There's
a
also
town.
white settlement.
Yeah,
so I came from Canada. I'm like, how the hell do you name the town this? Like,
it's a
how do you get
town.
away with it? I know. Oh, I get it.
I have nothing to do. That was years before.
No.
Yeah,
I get it.
Just the exposure itself, and now it's more than it's more than, well, hey, I understand him. I'm receptive to him.
Right.
Okay. He's not bad. His family isn't bad. They're not bad. They're loving just like everyone else.
What do you think, kind of, especially here in Deep Elm, what would you say the results were afterwards of, since you're saying we don't want to just label people by race, but like, Black Lives Matter, and there's a lot of fallout from that. How would you classify that now? Would you say it was good for relations across the country?
I think the topic itself was specific for that. Not that anything, no one's lives matter. Everyone's lives matter. Yeah. In my opinion, even from my aspect, from my side looking in, I'll stand in the front of the line and I'm the other guy that they're saying, hey, F you guys.
Because you're a cop.
They're saying F you guys, but wait.
Right.
Hey, dude, my life don't matter. You're just mad at me because of the uniform. It's like working at any other place, Whataburger or Walmart. It's my uniform. It's who I am, but it doesn't dictate.
Right. Yeah, I don't know what it was like here for you, but my dad over there, he was born and raised in Detroit, in the bad area of Detroit. Yeah, and the people who had it worse there, the worst were black cops in Detroit. They would have to go home in unmarked cars when the riots were happening, because a lot of them were seen as, they would say Uncle Toms, and they were threatened. They were targeted.
The story of Uncle Tom, but that's,
I know.
that's not even.
No, it's a good point. It's like using something. You're like, I don't think you know what you're saying.
You don't read a book. Read.
Exactly.
That would be a good start.
But
that would be a good start. But black cops in Detroit, I don't know but it was really, really bad.
And I think that all lives matter in itself, but in particular on that time frame. Yeah. That's what we were saying. Hey, listen, whoa, hold up. Yeah. Dude is reaching for his wallet. Let him get his wallet. Right. And that's saying from both sides of the fence for myself. Right. Hey man, let him get his wallet.
So what you just said, and you just touched, I just had a guy was talking, he said the exact same thing that you just said, right? Everybody's lives matter, all lives matter. Now here's a question that I would have, and if I know I don't have unlimited time, but that was something that a lot of people said. So white people say, look, I think all lives matter, and they were called racist or white supremacists if they said exactly what you just said.
That's ignorance.
But can you see how that makes white people afraid to even voice an opinion that's the same as yours? In other words, we share the opinion, but I'm telling you, just like you're saying a lot of.
But it wasn't about. It's basically, okay, this is where we're standing. Right. Stand with me. I get it. I'm not saying yours doesn't, but we're all unified, saying, hey, these lives matter. This specific person, this specific group, this specific people. Yeah. Their lives matter. Sure. So it wasn't necessarily, oh, you're racist because you're saying all lives matter. We're not talking about that other part right now. We're just talking about this part. Yeah. So let's focus and fix and help here.
Yeah, but like you just said though, right? That's not what you just said, that all lives do matter, everyone's lives, and there are a lot of white people who come from poor areas too, right? Who have struggles, and they were saying, well, hey, we need to fix this. And if you think the system is rigged because it's racist, and by the way, I think the justice system has a lot of problems. I think that if you just see it as a white and black thing, you're going to miss a lot of the problems, right? And so saying, if we need to fix this system, we can't just approach it from a racial angle, that all lives matter, that justice matters, period, and it's not being done, then you can get to the solution. But I'm telling you that a lot of white people were scared, obviously, because crime obviously went up here, had to board up their businesses, and they were afraid to voice their opinion or reach out like now and just talk to people because they're afraid of being called a racist.
That's something that's internal with you. Because I never said, hey, not
you, but I'm saying that the media labeled everyone that way. Yeah.
People or black people as a culture, they never said, hey, don't come talk to me. You just automatically shut up and say, well, I can't get my opinion. Point. Why? Yeah. I didn't say you didn't have it. No, nobody told you couldn't. I want to hear you. I want to be right. I want to know what you're thinking, because if I can't get it, if I don't know what's in your head, I can't hear out of your heart. You have Jesus is risen on your chest. The Bible says out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth is going to speak. Right. So whatever your mouth says, that was in your heart. Right. So let me know what's in your heart.
Yeah. And that's exactly.
I agree 100%. And if anybody's afraid by what's being painted out there in social media and whatnot, then that's your business. You deserve to be afraid. I'm not going to do anything that's going to make you feel less afraid. That's not my job. I'm not security. I'm not police. I'm not military. My job is not to do anything to make you feel less afraid. Now, if you want to speak up, then speak up. If you fear losing your job, that's your business. If you fear losing family and friends, that's your business. You got to make decisions as an adult. period. And there's going to be some backlash. But one thing I'm not going to do is mute myself. I'm not going to speak around the topic. I'm not going to walk across the street to make you feel better and let you have this sidewalk. None of that. None of that.
Well, see, here's the problem that I've always noticed is that when you take a look back at how those conversations were ran, what happened was the smallest voices in the room decided that because they were the ones that were upset the most about what was happening, they had to be the loudest voice and make sure that, white people knew, like, hey, don't speak on this topic because this is about us. You can't speak unless it's about us.
Yeah.
And so that makes them feel a certain type of way. And when they start to think that everybody in the black community thinks that, no.
Do you think it would have hit different if it would have been like Black Lives Matter 2 instead of just Black Lives Matters, man?
Well, I think the whole thing with the Black Lives Matter was that corporation really screwed up everything.
Yeah, the corporation.
It's not the movement. I can get behind that. But the whole corporation thing and the way they went about doing things was just, it was just divisive, and that's all it was ever supposed to do.
Yeah, before we started hearing about the corporations business and all those other things, people were already up against them yelling, all lives matter, Black lives matter, no, all lives matter. And then they started saying blue lives matter. And that really pissed off Black Lives Matter, because the whole reason for Black Lives Matter was because blue lives was taking Black lives, in their opinion. So it's like everybody want to be represented singularly, and then when you make it about a whole, it seems like you're only making it about a whole to combat the singular approach. Like, we get why y'all are out here, we get why you're protesting, but you need to understand that we do see that you matter, but we matter too. And you know what I mean? I understand all the sides that are out there yelling and Black Lives Matter. I get it. I understand why that started. Not fully behind it, be honest with you, but I did have T-shirts for me and my daughters. We was at the parade, Black Lives Matter parade in DC. We were down there for a while. The energy was amazing, but we didn't understand the organization. We didn't understand that all resources and monies were going to be going toward LGBTQ plus only type of organizations, and not back into the Black community. So it's lies been told, but at the end of the day, the beginning of it all was supposed to be for something righteous.
Right.
So would you have taken someone like me with you to that rally?
Nah, because I don't take white people anywhere with me. If a white person want to go somewhere with me, then a white person to go somewhere with me. But nah, I'm not taking you. I'm not going to stop and pick up a white person on the way. I think that's racist. I mean, I think, hey, we need to go pick up a white person. And nah, that's racist, man. I took my
We need
daughters.
a token.
Yeah, I need a token to get in. Nah. Like, I don't expect for you to take me to a Klan rally or a white person rally or a white person all lives matter. Like, it's here's the thing. It was white people at the Black Lives Matter rally. It was a bunch of them there. A boatload of them there. But a lot of people were there for the wrong reasons. I was there to support my daughters more than anything, because they were into it. And guess what? I'm a father before anything. Even if I disagree with the organization, if my daughters are with it, I'm going to be right there with them shoulder to shoulder. And guess what? On the ride there, I'm going to explain to them my side. On the ride back, I'm going to explain to them my side. And that's it. But I'm going to support them.
We'll be right there behind you. Don't worry about it. I got you.
That's right. Exactly. Because it's going to be a whole bunch of energy out there. It's going to be a whole bunch of people out there. And y'all don't have any protection unless I'm there. So I'm going to be that. And I'm slim. I can't beat everybody's ass. But guess what? I'll take an ass whooping for you so that you can get away.
Somebody's going to catch these hands if they try
it. Exactly. So
I might not win, but they're going to get an A for effort.
Exactly. They're gonna walk away looking like somebody gonna be like, well, what the other guy look like, because you got a couple of birds. But yeah, I honestly, this whole thing is misconstrued, bro. It's like it's painted in a way to keep us fighting each other, and they want us to fight each other. So we not. Here's the thing: Black Lives Matter really wanted us to fight each other so that nobody will see them hiding money away, purchasing properties in Canada, purchasing properties over there, some hiring their brothers as security and paying them $850,000 a year from all of the people who are donating to a cause that's bigger than just their pocketbooks. They was taking advantage of every single body while we was just fighting and bickering. No, Black Lives Matter. No, all lives matter. No, blue lives matter. No, red lives. And they just going to the bank, man. They in Gucci. They in Louis Vuitton. They in Versace. They doing whatever
doing the
they
same
want to do.
thing they're complaining about, right?
Exactly.
I wouldn't know what any of those things you named were if somebody handed them to me.
Listen, bro, I understand, Chris, but listen, you understand, like you just now said, a big issue with it all was the organization. They played us. They played everybody. They played everybody. And the thing that pisses me off is they played the people that the whole reason behind it. Like, was it are there some sucker police out there who do some things that they shouldn't be doing? Absolutely. They should be
100%.
fired. They should be in jail with the people that they arrest, in my opinion. And then when they are in jail with people that they arrest, then bad things will happen to them, like Derek Chauvin. Like the asshole knew that, okay, my knee is on his neck for a long extended time. Maybe I should get up off of him. He's already down. Everybody else is holding him down. He's handcuffed. Let me get up. And plus the dude, even if my knee didn't kill him and it was the drug overdose. Listen, you're on his neck for a long time, people pointing cameras in your face, and you're like, I don't care. Now what happens? You're in jail getting stabbed by people who love, people who want to stand for something that they don't even fully stand beside themselves. Because if they stood by Black lives, they wouldn't be in the jail system as much as they are, because when they were out, they was destroying Black lives. When they were out, they were selling drugs to Black lives. When they were out, they was pimping Black lives. When they were out, they was robbing Black lives. So it goes on and on and on and on and on. So everybody's a hypocrite.
Yeah, to an extent. Some people are just straight up like that, but
facts. But
I don't understand the whole race thing. I never have my whole life. I don't understand it. I grew up in the Navy. I told you, Ben, how my culture shock was when I moved to Arkansas and me and my older sister got on a bus, and we were the only white people on the bus, and they were all looking at us like there was something, wrong with us. Finally, I just looked at one and I said, "What? I got something on my face?" And the girl smiled, and then they all just kind of went about their business,
Oh, I understand a bit. Listen, Chris, it's sometimes, you got to bring your light to the darkness. And when you said, "What? I got something on my face," that was you bringing your light to the darkness. You could have responded in another way, like, "Get the hell out of my face!" Like, what the hell are you looking at? Or something that will really say, because sometimes that's what people want. They want you to respond to their actions in a disrespectful manner, to give them a reason to say, "Oh, he started it," or "He did this," or "He said this," blah 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 blah. Let's get him, and then it's all hell. Like, people just, okay, I get to get me a lick. Like, it's ridiculous.
They want you to match their energy.
Exactly. They just want you to match their energy, man. That's just ridiculous.
You're kind of like the head of the reason why I even went in this direction. A lot of us YouTubers point us in a direction of how to make better use of this platform.
Man, you just now made me smile when you brought up, being a father, focusing on what's real.
What brought me back, bro, was that everything that's right will be considered wrong in the end of the days. I'm like, yo, the book of Revelations is hitting right now. Let's join.
So I went and checked you out, and I was like, whoa, I've seen these before. This dude is doing Uber raps.
In the south that I live in, the liquor and pills are just way too appealing.
It was like, oh my gracious, what did it say? God dang it, I was in the car driving, saying this train over and over and over again, I promise you. So thank you, bro. I will have them looking at your channel.
You look very good for 44, my man.
All four of my kids graduated 4.0 or better. She held me down, and I said, one day, I'm going to take care of you.